What's good YouTube and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be going over Melodious Snake Eye, which is the newest deck to come out of YCS Rio this past weekend. This deck aims to use Ostinato similarly to Brilliant Fusion in order to raise the ceiling of your Snake Eye deck without using its normal summon in most case scenarios. Um, for instance, where other Snake Eye variants aim to use cards like Crossout Designator or the Kashtira engine as a sub-engine in order to raise your ceiling and help you play through hand traps. This is doing a very similar thing, but Ostinato, in my opinion, probably raises your ceiling the highest out of any of the sub-engines you could play with the Snake Eye deck. So for this first combo, we're just using one copy of Ostinato. We're going to activate our copy of Ostinato, sending 2 copies of Refrain from the deck to the graveyard in order to fusion summon into Bacha. We're going to activate Bacha's effect in order to summon a 3rd copy of Refrain from the deck. Then we're going to activate Refrain's effect in order to add Couplet. We're going to activate Couplet's effect in hand because it was added in order to summon back a Refrain from the graveyard. Next, we're going to activate Couplet's effect in order to add a Concerto from the deck to the hand. Next, we're going to activate Concerto to fuse the Couplet plus one of our refrains into a copy of Scuberta. That's going to trigger both of them to go back into the Pendulum Zone. Next, we're going to link away our Bacha and our refrain into IP Masquerena. This is going to trigger Concerto and Bacha. We're going to chain block our Bacha with the Concerto and we're going to bring back a refrain. Next, we're going to Pendulum Summon 1. So, let me pause it here. So, some versions of this deck are opting to play Exceed the Pendulum in order to get to a copy of Appaloosa before your Pendulum Summon. You can do that for this combo. I'm not showing Exceed the Pendulum into that option because if your opponent does have a copy of Nibiru the Primal Being, they're probably going to nib you at the same spot and you're basically in the same situation. One, you haven't used the Pendulum Summon yet. The other one you have, which for all intents and purposes for a Snake Eye deck is you're in the same game state. Next, we're going to overlay our 2 copies of Refrain in order to make a new card that just came out 2 sets ago. I believe it came out in Phantom Nightmare, Infernal Flame Banshee. This card says you can detach 1 Xyz material in order to take a Pyro monster from your deck and either add it to your hand or send it to the graveyard. For this combo, we're going to be adding a copy of Poplar. You know what Poplar does because it was added. You can reveal it. It's a special summon itself. We're going to go Poplar's effect in order to add the original Sinful Spoil. Next, we're going to use our Banshee, our IP, and our Poplar to make a copy of Appaloosa. Poplar will put itself in the Spawn Trap Card Zone. We're going to activate Original in order to send itself to summon Oak. Oak will bring back Poplar. Then we're going to use Oak's effect, tribute them both in order to summon Flamber's Dragon. And Flamber's Dragon will then put up the IP Masquerena. So that's it for the first line. As you can see, just 1 copy of Ostinato gets us to our regular Snake Eye Ash end board of IP Flamberge for follow-up with Appaloosa, but instead of having a Promethean in the graveyard, you're able to supplement that with a Scuberta, which is basically a quick play banish 3 from either player's graveyard, which I think this interruption is very good this format. This card is very good against in the mirror, very good against Tempai, very good against the Melodious Mirror. I think that Scuberta is a really good interruption right now, and this is a pretty nice end board. And keep in mind, this did not use your normal summon. So obviously, if you open up like a card like Snake Eye Ash, your line might change a little bit, and you can end on an even better board. So for our next combo, hey Jib, what happens if you don't open up Ostinato, which is your broken blowout card? What happens if you only open Refrain? Well, I have something to tell you. Refrain is also a 1-card Snake Eye combo. So that's one of the cool things about this sub-engine compared to other sub-engines where, say for instance with the Kashtira cards, if you open up Fenrir instead of Unicorn, you don't have access to your crazy combos because Fenrir doesn't give you the same amount of bodies that Unicorn does, even though it's still in the interruption. Or like in other decks, say for instance Voice is playing a branded engine. If you don't open up Branded Fusion, you open up Albaz, it's like terrible. In this deck, if you don't open up Ostinato, Refrain is still a 1-card combo. So for this combo, you're going to normal summon Refrain, add Couplet, activate Couplet in order to grab Concerto. You're going to activate your Concerto to fuse into a Bacha, place both in scales because they trigger. You're going to summon out Refrain. So for your next line of play, you're going to ask yourself, well, so we're at this game state. How do we get another Melodious in the graveyard in order to get utility from our Bacha. Well, Refrain has another effect. While in the scale, you can target a Melodious fusion monster you control, send a Melodious monster from your deck to your graveyard, and if you do, the target gains attack equal to the level of the sent monster times 200 until end phase. So you're able to use Refrain in order to dump the third Refrain from your deck to graveyard. You turn those two into IP Masquerena, Chainlink 1 Bacha, Chainlink 2 Concerto, you draw a random card, and you summon back your Refrain. Next, you're going to Pendulum Summon again, and you're going to overlay these two into Infernal Flame Banshee, grabbing Poplar. Very similar line as we did before. From here, it's very similar. Turn those three into Appaloosa. Poplar will scale itself, summon out Oak. Oak bring back Poplar. Summon out Flamber's Dragon, and put up the IP. So this just goes to show that even when you open up Refrain instead of Ostinato, which is obviously not ideal, you're still able to end on a very powerful board with just that. So for our last combo for today, we're going to do another Ostinato combo, but this is with Beyond the Pendulum, and you're able to do some really crazy stuff with Beyond the Pendulum. I'm not saying that Beyond the Pendulum is the correct way to play the deck, because if they do have Nibiru, then they're going to Nibiru you at that spot no matter what, and then Beyond the Pendulum sort of becomes a dead card later on in your extra deck. But let's just show this combo. So all the combos pretty much start off the same. You're going to dump double Refrain to summon Bacha. Bacha effect will summon out the third Refrain, and Refrain will grab Couplet. Couplet effect will reveal itself in hand in order to summon back another Refrain. You're going to activate the Couplet in order to add the Concerto. So this line, it gets a little bit different from here. Now you're going to link all three away into Beyond the or Exceed the Pendulum, the exceeded version of Beyond the Pendulum. We're going to go Chainlink 1 Exceed and Chainlink 2 Bacha. We're going to do this to try to play around Ghost Ogre. And we're going to bring back Refrain, and we're going to add a Refrain back to our hand. Now we're going to use those two in order to make Appaloosa. We're not going to scale and then use the Exceed effect to summon from hand. Not with this combo. You're just going to make an early Appaloosa. Then you're going to scale your other Refrain. Then you're going to fuse both your scales into a Scoberta. And then it will trigger both your scales to set themselves back. So this gives you the most value from your cards this setup. So you're able to get to Scoberta with 2 set scales and Appaloosa before you really did anything. So now you're able to Pendulum Summon out 2 Refrains and turn those 2 into Infernal Flame Banshee. You detach one, and this time we're going to add Snake Eye Ash because we have it normal summoned. Next, we're going to normal summon Snake Eye Ash. This will grab us our Poplar. We're going to activate Poplar, summon itself, effect will grab us Divine Temple of the Snake Eye. Next, we're going to activate Divine Temple of the Snake Eye to put up Snake Eye Diabell, a new card that just came out in Legacy of Destruction. So now we're going to link away our Infernal Flame Banshee and our Poplar into an IP Masquerena. This will trigger Poplar's effect to spell and trap itself. Then we're going to use Ash's effect, send itself and Poplar, summon Oak. Oak effect will revive one. Then we're going to activate our Scoberta's effect. Scoberta will banish our Infernal Flame Banshee. Our Infernal Flame Banshee has a second effect that if it's banished and we control a Pyro, we can special summon it. So Infernal Flame Banshee will special summon itself back. Then we're going to use Oak to send itself an Infernal Flame Banshee in order to summon Flamber's Dragon. Next, we're going to link away our Ash, our Flamber's Dragon, and our Scoberta into Promethean Princess. This will trigger Flamber's Dragon in order to revive 2 bodies back. Then we're going to use Princess to bring back our Flamberge, and Flamberge will put up our Scoberta. So Scoberta is a cool card that I've already explained the effect. It can banish up to 3 quick effect, but it can only use it once while it's face up on the field. So by doing this, we're linking it away and then putting it back into our spell and trap card zone. So when our opponent summons, we're going to be able to put the Scoberta back onto the field in order to banish 3 more. Then we're going to use Promethean Princess plus one of our level 1s in order to go into Raging Phoenix into Zelantis. And to finish it off, now we're going to use our Snake Eye Diabell to place our Poplar into our spell and trap card zone to summon it. We're going to overlay our 2-level Ace for Titanic Galaxy. So this is, and somewhere during that, once we send the Scoberta to the graveyard, we're going to be able to use Concerto. So that was supposed to have already happened to get us a draw. And you see in the chat, I typed my bad. Heart emoji. Love you guys. So I forgot to draw earlier. But yeah, so you're able to get to a draw. And also, so you're able to get to this board plus a draw. And this is the whole combo. So if you look at our board, we have Appaloosa for 2, we have a Spell Negate, we have IP into SP without having to use any of our good links or XCs, because we have a stray level 1 on the board. We have Promethean Princess in the graveyard for a pop randomly if we need it. And then if our opponent summons something, then we're able to summon back our Scuberta to get a banish 3. So this is a lot of interruption. This is a lot of interruption. And this is all off of one card. So yeah, man, Brilliant / Branded Fusion is back in the form of Ostinato, and it's going to raise the ceiling of the Snake Eye deck a lot. But at the end of the day, if you guys are asking me what I personally think about this version of the deck, I think it is definitely something to look out for. However, do I think it is the best version of Snake Eye? No. The issue with all the sub-engines, in my opinion, is that they do add bricks to a pretty consistent deck. You can argue that the deck is so consistent that maybe you can afford to play these bricks, because if you open up Snake Ash, it doesn't matter. You're just gonna, Snake Ash just does so much by itself. You can have bad cards in your hand, because Snake Ash by itself usually is enough to win the game. But I think at the end of the day, this is something that you should be expecting at the next regional YCS case tournament. People will play this version of the deck. I think it is a scary version of the deck. If you draw Ostinato, it does feel unfair. But yeah, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. But before I sign out, there is another combo for this deck that I did not show in this video that I know a lot of people are wondering about, and that is the Tri-Gate Wizard combo. And in one of my streams this week, which if you're not already following me on Twitch, make sure to follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/jib_Yugioh. I had said that I did not know how to do the Tri-Gate combo, which was true at the time. But since then, I have learned how to do the Tri-Gate combo. It took me about like an hour and a half to figure out, but I was able to figure out the Tri-Gate combo. But I'm not showing it off in this video for a few reasons. One, I'm going to make you guys work for it. And two, because I know some people that I'm friends with are potentially going to be playing it at the next YCS, and they have opted not to make deck profiles after the YCS, so I'm going to respect that and not show it off immediately. But if you guys are able to get this video to, let's say, 2K views with 200 likes, I will see if I can release the Tri-Gate Wizard combo, and I will update you guys on Twitter, so follow me on X. But thank you guys for all the support. The videos on the channel are doing great. I really love the growth of the channel so far, and hopefully we can continue to do this for many more years. Have a great day, boys, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.